Okay. Let me just hope we don't get any drops or any disconnects. But here we go. In the bottom left, we have Silverwolf going 4-3 Colossus, Severf going Charges, Helveticano going Siphon, Budget Baller going 4-3 Colossus, Nox going Plague, and Obi-Wan going Charges. What do we have from top?
Alright, on the top team we have Heal You with Charges, we have Rianor with Plague, Saronja with Plague, EMP on Moo, Kraken goes with Feedback, and Charges on Forestry Dude. So a lot of Charges opening this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people like it for the side lane. Certainly, it's kind of flexible, right? You know, you can have the dreads cut in, right? Like if you do a more defensive opening, then you can't just have the dread cut in very quickly at the start and be aggressive toward the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there an agreement?
No.
I never heard any agreement.
No, they didn't end up agreeing to anything. I think it was more wishful thinking on their part.
Well, I mean, it was Helveticano proposing it, but you know, Kraken has to actually agree. If Kraken never actually agrees, then it's not going to be a rule, right? I mean, you can't just have one team say, okay, let's make a rule, and then have no response, and then have it be a rule. But I mean, that doesn't mean blue team is necessarily worse off here, right? I mean, it is theoretically still a fine composition to support, to tank, to overlord, right?
Absolutely, except that the early game is going to be quite tough for them.
Yeah, that's really where the issue comes in. That's the main tricky point. Especially with no missile boat, right? I mean, even against a comp with just a missile boat in mid.
Well, they would still get pushed.
I don't. I'm so confused that it's Kraken's team is the one complaining here when they said nothing, right? But I mean, they're not even really. I mean, they're only down like 200 in farm, which is pretty normal for the situation. It's not like they're unusually far down or anything.
And you see the plagues paying off.
Yeah, it's not like the red team is pushing in and doing the very long contain without any sort of counter aggression. So we're getting his imps off. Yeah, okay, I guess they are pushing it up to 300 now. So this is where it gets a little bit of a hole, but still, I mean, it is a pretty strong late game comp. I guess the main problem here is, right, that Helveticano's team is going to want to come out with, they're going to try to get strong upgrades, get a strong contain until like the 15-minute mark, and then come out with double siege, right? And so basically Moo is going to need Blackout, and Kraken is going to need something good to break the double siege within the next 15 minutes.
Well, the current composition is all about contain. So yeah, you're expecting some defensive, pushy upgrades.
It's also a question of, you know, I've seen when other people have been running Arbiter this tournament, they've sometimes opened Phantom actually over Feedback. So yeah, I do kind of, yeah.
This is pretty good because, well, that's a lot of HP right here. And it creates a confusion also.
Yeah. Although Feedback, of course, is, I think, generally regarded as more or less the standard opening for Arbiter.
Yeah.
see, are they... Seb is really annoyed at this, but I mean, I still don't know why Seb is so annoyed when his captain never actually agreed to any house rules. Like, they do understand how captain's agreements work, right?
Well, that's exactly it. There was wishful thinking, thinking they had an agreement, and there you go. There wasn't.
I mean, there wasn't an agreement. An agreement requires both captains actually saying what the house rule is. Like, one team saying, okay, let's do this, and the other person saying yes, and Kraken just never said anything. He did, like, an ellipses, and that was it.
Yeah, then they go, okay, with 3 tanks, and there was no answer. So, that means what it means.
I mean, ultimately, like, it's not going to make it's probably not going to make much of a difference in the long run anyway. I mean, this is a best-of-7 format, so it's not like one weird juke in game 1 is going to determine things anyway.
Actually, it will make a difference. Now they feel that they can't hold an agreement, so we're going to have 4 tanks every game, and there won't be any agreement happening.
Yeah, but when that happened the last time Kraken and Helveticano went up, like, as soon as Kraken went 4 tanks every game, they won all of those games, right? Helveticano hasn't won a matchup of 4 tanks versus 4 tanks against Kraken yet.
So that's the problem. Now they're gonna stick to 4 tanks.
Yeah, if anything, I think this might be worse for Helveticano in the long run, but, you know. Like, I think Helveticano's team actually would have been better off with the agreement. So I don't know why Kraken is so, or why Kraken's team is so annoyed at what happened here. Like, I mean, just for this game, sure, it's annoying, but in terms of the overall tournament, it doesn't seem like it should ultimately necessarily make a difference.
Oh yeah, they have room to come back. But for this game, the farm lead is getting quite big.
Yeah, it's going up to 600. That's pretty big, and I mean it doesn't have to be a huge issue, but yeah, Moo does have Blackout now, but I don't. Yeah, Kraken I guess picked up Storm, so I guess I'm just not sure that they're actually gonna have the damage to break out the enemy team when they do come back with the double siege, right? Obi-Wan is going to be coming back with 371. Sever is 780, right? So he already has enough for siege, and Obi-Wan will probably have enough for siege soon.
You think they would do it that early?
I'm thinking in the next 6 minutes, yeah, because they know that Kraken has the more late game oriented comp.
So that was a defensive one.
I mean, strictly they don't even necessarily need 2, right? Like, even just 1 might be really hard to break at this point. They do know that Moo has the Blackout, though, so... I mean, that could change their plan a little bit, but, you know, even with the Blackout landing, they're going to be coming out with so far ahead in ups, right? It's not totally clear whether Kraken's team will have the damage to break the, a siege even with the Blackout. Silverwolf does not have Hardened Shield, so he is going to be taking full damage from the Tempests here. Budget Baller does not have Hardened Shield either. They do have some Lances. And blue team is actually heading back now. Moo, I guess, needs to go pick some sort of upgrade up. Saranja misses the plague on Obi-Wan.
Now they're going 1 by 1 to upgrade. That's how far ahead they are.
Yeah. I guess Severf did not get siege quite yet. I guess I wasn't quite right about that, but I would still expect it in the next, I still kind of expect it before the 20-minute mark, I guess.
Oh, with this family, yeah, absolutely. Now that he's got a protective field. Yeah, full upgrade.
Yeah, it's really just the gats they haven't worked on yet, right? It can still be tempting to get like a few levels of gats first.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but before going siege, we wanted to get defensive upgrades, just to make sure. No point taking risk. There's no rush here for them.
Side blast offs, yeah. 2,000 damage on Nox's side blast, and Saranja's is only at 1,400, so it's a pretty big difference. That's one of the reasons this early game farm lead can really get out of control. Ah, there we are. Kraken has Cloak now. So between Cloak, Blackout, and then the two Dreads, right? You know, there's a lot of power in the blue team's comp, you know, especially as they go later in the game. And Nox is, you know, neither Nox or Helveticano have Spotter at this point. So this is kind of a window where Cloak is just exceptionally strong for Kraken. And because then they have to push in on the Arbiter. And both Saranja and Seb can drop their side blasts without taking damage in return at all, theoretically. Can be a little tricky, of course. But yeah, it's now an 1,100 farm lead at the moment. Even with the strong set of abilities, it's just such a severe difference in upgrades that it is going to be pretty tricky here. We do have several ships of the red team going back, and it looks like they want to spend their hilarious amount of money. Yeah, Obi-Wan's going back with 1,200, Severf going back with 500, Budget Baller going back with 1,000. Right, there's just so much money overall in this team that we'll see what they come out with. 2,600 Side Blast on Nox, with 18 range on the Mutalisks. That means it's 12 range on Side Blast. Severf coming out with 6 Gats. Silverwolf coming out with Invulnerability. Oh, here we are. Helveticano coming out with 1,800 on the Side Blast and 19 range on Mutalisks. So 13 range on Side Blast. And Budget picks up, looks like 11 shields. So it's big and tanky.
And we're getting a boom boom from Obi-Wan.
Thank you for the follow. Agma. Yeah, this is... Yeah, so I guess I was wrong. I miscalled the timing. Obi-Wan picked up Boo Boom, and we don't have Siege from Sever, so won't actually see double Siege before the 20-minute mark. I guess with the Cloak and the Blackout, it is pretty risky. But
yeah,
still,
there's no reason to rush it. They're
yeah.
just solidifying their lead, and you know they want to take the win here.
Absolutely, and they are 1,300, so really just continuing to expand the lead from here should be pretty easy, especially with the massive Side Blast from Nox, is that with the range upgrades of the Overlords, it can be really hard for Kraken to actually get the value out of the Cloak, because they can just kind of reach past the cloaked ships and hit the Arbiter. Actually, even without Siege, the top tower has already lost half its shields. And Kraken is having a hard time keeping the Cloak up permanently for Saranja. But Helveticano, right? I mean, is this situation, right, where Helveticano is down to half-life? If they could have actually held it up any longer, it really could have gotten a lot of damage in. And it's not like there's any direct support for either the Colossi if they do start to take too much damage. I mean, if Silverwolf's shields drop, you know, there's just... You know, if he can't do Hardened Shield, like, he's just gonna pop really fast against the two Overlords.
Are they getting to a point where EMP and feedback are starting to do not very much?
Yeah, they can't keep up the denial versus just the sheer pool of energy from everyone on the enemy team. And Mu doesn't have the Imp upgrade yet either, so he's not draining 300 each time, only 200. Yeah, it's almost a double farm lead. We're looking at nearly 2,000 farm lead. This is getting pretty extreme. Side Blast on Nox. Saranja is chrono boosted. Alright, but now we're going to have Silverwolf coming back with 1,000, Budget Bowler coming back with 650, Severv coming back with nearly 1,000, Nox coming back with 1,200, and Obi-Wan is actually going to try to get some Gats on Saranja. They can't really get a kill anywhere here because of the cloak, but this is still just the sheer farm lead is going to be a really big problem.
This is probably where you're going to see
the double siege.
The siege, yeah. Or maybe at least one.
Oh, we can find out. Severv goes up to 11 Gats.
Alright. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, and then he's like, no, nope, just gonna go up to 15 Gats seems good too.
Next upgrade.
We don't want to just sit there and wait for the blackout to land on top of me, right? You know, might as well just continue to get our double farm lead into a triple farm lead, right? You know, why not?
Well, Obi-Wan got it.
Yeah, Obi-Wan got the siege there. Okay, so we'll see it there. And so let's see. I guess it's Obi-Wan we want to be watching here then, right?
So now we have a 3k blast on Zerg ship from Nox.
Oh my god. And Helveticano is up to 2,000 as well. Yep, there's the siege.
There's a counter siege. Not.
Yu is cloaked and boosted. He only has level 2 Gats, so it's a pretty significant difference. And the problem is that with the continuous protective field, right? The two dreads don't really do a lot of damage to each other, right? So basically, Kraken has to maintain the cloak. He actually wants to be hitting every other ship, right?
Exactly, that's what he want to do.
Like you don't want to hit the dread because that doesn't take any damage. But the problem is the Colossi also have hardened shields, so they don't take damage. So basically, you just want to be shooting Overlords here. And actually, Yu kind of needs to get out of this at this point, right? Ooh, Blackout lands. I think it actually clips onto Yu.
Well, I had to
what is Forestry Dude doing? He needs, if he's gonna try to run away, he needs to get out of siege mode. And it looks like they're gonna lose this tower now. Oh, Kraken can keep cloaking the tower off and on, so that will protect it. Helveticano did not get spotter, and Nox did not get spotter, so they don't have any direct way to reveal units right now. Looks like they're going to try to go out and actually get on top of Obi-Wan, but this is going to be dangerous, right? Because they, with the invulnerability shields and just the sheer number of shields of all these ships, it can be kind of hard to push out. That's where the double farm lead really, it just becomes so oppressive. And Obi-Wan now will be able to siege up in another 10 seconds, actually a little bit less than that. And yeah, the first tower goes down. Now Kraken's team is going to need to figure out what they can do here. They really, I think, needed the blackout when more of them were at a high enough life that they could really get on top of one of the ships. Like, what they want to do, like, is somehow get on top of one of the overlords.
Well, what they wanted to do with their double siege was to damage some ships. I guess get a jump at some point if they...
Oh, Hilyu is down to 800. He was cloaked, but the lance hits him through the cloak and he goes down. And there's just so much damage here all over the place that even with the blackout, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to save this tower. Helveticano and Nox are both going to be able to just drop more side blasts probably. And Obi-Wan's next round of siege is up. And this is where Saranya and Hilyu are going to be more annoyed at the choice of composition. But ultimately, if you didn't want to see a 4-tank composition, you needed to agree. No, it wasn't for no reason, but you need to actually agree to it. Do they not understand that? Like, you can't just have one team say what the rules could be. What they could be, right? So much salt. It's kind of not the way I think anyone wanted this tournament to begin.
No.
I guess this is one of the points of confusion since Helveticano... I mean, maybe it's because Helveticano is both the tournament admin and the captain, that for some reason they thought that it wasn't a captain's agreement, right? But I mean, I think he presented it as a captain's agreement. I don't think he said this is the rule now. Well, if they could get on top of, if they could interrupt the one of the warp outs, right? If they could maybe get a poke on Severus, or
actually, Severus stopped it on his own.
Yeah, well,
he saw the feedback coming.
Yeah, but if they could get a pick here, that would be really nice. I mean, I don't know exactly how possible it is, just because they all are running 0.71 speed. No one here is too slow. Kraken's only at 0.81, so he's faster, but he's not that much faster as an Arbiter. Oh. And actually, I guess if they could get a few side blasts on Helveticano here, right? I mean, if they could actually get on here just a little bit. But they would have needed, I think, Saranja to get over there as well. Certainly they could get warped in on, but, you know, all it takes is the two overlords focusing down the one target, and they would get him down in just, you know, 3 side blasts each, and he would die.
oh, it would go really fast, especially boosted. He wouldn't
Yeah.
see it coming. With Cloak, he really wouldn't see it coming. But then on the other hand, they have no idea where the rest of the team is.
Yeah. The rest of the team could warp in and then it would be a problem. But yeah, this is just, it got way too out of control. Farm got too asymmetrical, and so this is going to be the end of game 1, it looks like. And so we'll be going on to game 2.
This is why in-house we have a 2 tanks rule, 2 tanks max, because well, tanks are really strong in this meta.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here. We'll see how extreme the level of assault is from Kraken's team.